Hello everyone, I'm Joe. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be testing different brands of laundry detergent in an effort to try to determine which one performs the best. But before we get into the testing, let's talk briefly about the different types and the pros and cons of each. Powders. Some of the pros for powder. They perform the best for mud clay type stains. They're the most economical. And they come in eco-friendly packaging. A couple of the cons to powders is they don't dissolve very well in cold water, and they can leave residue in your washing machine and on your clothes. Liquids, on the other hand, dissolve better in your wash, are better for oil and grease stains, and rinse out of your clothes much better. Now the cons to liquids is they can definitely be messier with drips and stickiness, and they also come in the not so eco-friendly plastic bottles. And finally, pods. Very convenient, least messy of the three, and very simple to use. The cons to using pods is that they are the most expensive of the three, and they only come in one size, so it makes it difficult sometimes with different size loads. Sometimes you're using too much, sometimes not enough. Alright, well, let's move on and do some washing. We're going to be taking a look at 6 different brands of laundry detergent. Tide, All, Persil, Gain, Arm&Hammer, and then lastly a dollar store brand by the name of True Living. Now these are all going to be in the liquid form since that seems to be the most popular these days. We're going to be taking a look at how each of these brands perform on different stains, how they perform in hot water versus cold water, and lastly, what the cost per load is. So what we did first is cut up some pieces of the cotton, like you see here. Just kind of simulate like a t-shirt or what have you. And we're going to use these in the wash and to test our different detergents. But the first thing we need to do is create some stains. So how are we going to do that? Let's see, what do we have here? Anybody like spaghetti? Let's take some spaghetti sauce and make a little mess here. This is the fun part. What else can we use? Let's see, what else do we have here? How about morning coffee? Okay. What else? What else? For the mechanics out there, how about some dirty motor oil? And who has kids out there or likes to work in the garden? Not sure how well this is going to work, but we'll try it. How about some grass stains down here at the bottom? We'll work it in there really good. All right, there we go. I'll make up a few more of these, and then we'll let them sit for 24 hours, let them dry up a little bit, and then we'll start the washing. So the washing machine that we'll be using for this test is a top load Speed Queen. Initially we will start out using hot water. A load size is small. We will be using the extra rinse, and the cycle selection will be set at normal eco. Now as far as how much detergent we'll be using, we'll be going by the manufacturer's recommendation for regular loads. And like I mentioned, we'll be using hot water for this first round of testing. Current temperature, 124 degrees. Now I know this is a little difficult to see, but the top three pictures are the brands that perform the best. The top left is the Persil, the top right is the Tide, and surprisingly, the middle top is the dollar store brand. Here's a little closer look. This is the Persil versus the dollar store brand. And the Persil versus Tide. And Tide versus dollar store. Okay, so here's how the different brands ranked. This is a scale of 1 to 10. And if we take a look here with the spaghetti stains, Persil and the dollar store brand came on top. Arm&Hammer close second. Coffee stains, again, Persil came in first place, followed by the dollar store, Arm&Hammer, and Tide. When it came to the used oil, none of them did really all that well, but Tide seemed to do a pretty good job there compared to the others. So we're going to give Tide the first place with, again, Persil a close second. Grass stains, again, Persil and the dollar store brand came in first. So we total up all the scores here. First place we're going to give to Persil, second place to the dollar store brand, and then third place to the Tide. Now keep in mind, this is somewhat subjective, right? I think you'll be fine with any of these top three brands. It's really going to come down to the economics, which one's cheaper, which one's on sale that particular day. And speaking of economics, how much liquid are you supposed to use per load? Well, you can find this information on the back of the bottle. And as you can see here, sometimes it's very easy to read and understand, and other times not so much. Same thing with the cap that doubles as a measuring cup. Sometimes you can see the lines very clearly, other times you can't. So is this by design? Well, you tell me. Keep in mind these companies are in business to sell product and make a profit. And it's human nature, if you're not sure you put enough in, to add a little extra. So let's take a measurement of exactly how much liquid we use for each brand. Gain, 1.5 ounces. Dollar store, 1.5 ounces. All, 1.5 ounces. Persil, 1.5 ounces. Arm&Hammer, 1.25 ounces. And lastly, Tide, 1.25 ounces. Which brings up an interesting question. If we were to use 1.5 ounces, would this move Tide into second or first place? Trying to conserve energy and reduce costs by running your wash cycle in cold? Well, let's take a look and see how these detergents perform. So we took the Persil, Dollar Store, and Tide and ran them in cold water. Here are the samples side by side. Left side picture ran in hot water, right side ran in cold water. Cold water just did not get it done. I highly recommend running at least warm water for your wash cycle. Okay, now that we completed the testing of each of these detergents, let's talk about costs. So looking at the spreadsheet here, you can see that the Persil, being that it was the #1 performer in our test, is also the most expensive. So I guess you get what you pay for, right? So if you follow along here, this was based off a 150-ounce bottle. The cost of that bottle was $19.97. Now again, this is standard retail pricing. This is not a sale price. I'm sure you can probably find it cheaper on sale somewhere. Based off the 1.5 ounce recommendation for medium-sized loads, it's going to cost you 20 cents per load using the Persil detergent, which calculates out to just under $70 a year. Second most expensive will be the Tide. Again, same price for the bottle, 146 ounces versus 150. And again, going by the recommendation, only using 1.25 ounces, this only costs you 17 cents per load. Now, if you take a look at the Dollar Store brand, now remember this one came in second place in our performance testing. Cost per load, just under 15 cents. Very economical, very surprising how well this brand performed. Now, if your laundry is typically larger or heavily soiled loads, you're going to want to use a little more liquid. What was surprising was the Tide and Dollar Store brand did not really give a specific amount to use for larger loads, whereas the other four recommended at 2.5 ounces. And that's what I used here for this calculation. So as a result, you can see Tide actually came in at the higher cost. Persil was next. And then again, that good old Dollar Store came in fourth. So there you go. Those are the results. I will leave a copy of this cost spreadsheet along with the performance spreadsheet down in the description below. That way you can download it and take a closer look yourself. And that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like this type of content, be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will catch you on the next one.